Nice. Thank you for being my friend. I'd like to take this moment to thank you for coming to the Purple Mic on Get It On Night.
Ooh, get it on. You like that?
Oh goodness, it's gonna be a night.
Oh yeah,
those nights.
Good evening, guys, and welcome to the Purple Mic. I'm your host, Erica. Tonight, I am joined by Tony, Jolon,
Troublemaker 1,
and LaShonna. Tony, I noticed you changed your name.
Whisperer phone.
Just look up the business name.
Okay.
If I make up another page, I'll make up a page for JR.
Okay, yeah.
I was wondering when JR was ever popped. I don't think he ever
JR
leaves.
hasn't been back.
No, JR doesn't actually leave.
I don't think he ever leaves, but I think the name leaves, but not him.
Yeah.
Okay.
So y'all are gonna make me set up an Instagram page just for JR. Watch.
Please do. Please
If
do.
you guys have already watched our episode, you know we had an amazing sexology series earlier this season, volumes 1, 2, and 3. Tonight we are discussing love, the art of love. So tonight we are breaking down vulnerability, boundaries of when a man loves you, if it's lust or if it's love. What is sex? How do we tell if it's going forward or if we're just in the moment? So we hope you stay tuned. We hope you enjoy this episode. When you are in love, sometimes we think, I'm not kissing him. I don't want to get my feelings attached. I don't want to get too wrapped up in him. It's just a one-night stand. When you kiss a man, what does it do for you? When you kiss a woman, what do you feel?
I'm a kisser, so it just takes me to a place where I feel like I'm starting to connect with that person. Like I'm slowly releasing my balls and my getting more into my vulnerability and starting to relinquish some of my power so you can take control. So for me, I think it's like a precursor to almost like the storytelling of through action that I am feeling you, I want you, I desire you. It's like the fire starter for me.
Nice.
I can actually say I'm a kisser. I am. I love kissing. It was crazy because I just got out of a situation where I didn't really kiss that person for like 3 years. Like I can count on one hand. And it was weird to me because I am such an affectionate person and I am a kisser. For me, it kind of lets me know if I'm going to vibe with you or not. That's kind of like how I feel with it. It lets me know if we're vibing, if we're good. And if I kiss you and I don't quite feel anything, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm a friend zone you real quick.
Has a kiss initially ever taken you, both ladies, and this is a question for you both, has it taken you there, like initially where you just kiss him and it's like, oh my God, I'm so turned on right now?
Yes.
Think I want to go all the way?
Yes.
Yep.
In the beginning stages. Nice. Nice. And Tony?
Back to you, Tony. Lick your lip.
All right. So, kissing is all those things that you guys have described and more, but it depends on the person, obviously. And the crazy part about it is I read an article that says the new generation, they don't want to kiss because kissing is to them perceived a very intimate and personal thing. So if they hooking up with somebody, they don't kiss them. They just have sex and go about their business. Okay. So now from a man's point of view, I guess it depends on how we see you to a certain degree. If we're pursuing you and all we see you is as a conquest, then kissing doesn't mean jack squat to us. It's a means to an end. If we like you, then kissing is going to be a lot more prevalent. We're going to kiss you more. We're going to kiss you more often. That means we like you, and the kissing is going to be very passionate. And as far as eyes open or closed, I guess that's a preference thing, because I've met women that think it's odd that my eyes open when I'm kissing them.
Whoa.
Oh, you kiss with your eyes open?
Yeah, I do, because I want to see everything. That's just me. You talking to a man that I was in a relationship where I went with her to the doctor when she had her little downstairs area tightened up and checked on. I was right there in the room talking to the doctor because I wanted to see everything. So that's just me.
Okay, so you just
Oh,
Mr. Eye
oh,
Opener.
really?
All right.
That-
Oh yeah,
Oh.
when you with me, I want to see everything.
Oh, bear it all.
Mm-hmm.
When you're with someone, like you said, you're opening up that sensual side of yourself, and it is really because you care about her. Whereas the younger generation, you're saying they don't really care so much. It's all about self-pleasure and being in the moment.
Yeah, I think that's more of a personal preference for the most part. But yeah, I think the younger generation, sex is a little different per every generation. Every generation is a little bit more open about sex. So there's the generation that's out here now, sex is nothing. That's like drinking water. So, go satisfy those urges and go on about your business. They look at it for what it is. They don't see it as, they don't see it as, hey, I'm just to make a baby, to get attached to somebody. They just see sex as good enough. Yeah, they just see it as just, let's get this on. Let me deal with these urges and not,
fulfilling a primal instinct.
Exactly.
For them.
I would have to agree with Tony with that, because looking at the generation, like when I talk to my daughter and her friends, a lot of them are still virgins and they're in their 20s and they don't view sex like that. They view it as like it's a very intimate thing, and I want to do it with someone that's gonna be there with me for the long haul. Like, I'm noticing that my daughter's generation, they are really like, they're just not into it. Not saying that they won't do it, but I notice a lot of the girls, like I said, when I talk to them, they're just not into it. And they're like, I want to be married first. I want to do my career first. I don't have time, because that creates feelings and it open up other stuff. So they're just kind of like, if it happens, it happens. And if it don't, it don't. I am not praying for it.
Yeah, it depends on the generation. Because a little side story, and this is crazy. So I just told you guys I used to manage a McDonald's. So I had a bunch of teenagers in there. And so they used to talk about a lot of stuff around me. And one of the craziest things that they would talk about was the girls. Some of the guys would talk about the girls that they would meet. And I would hear some comments from some of the girls. And what blew my mind was a few of the girls that worked at the store, and some of the guys backed it up, was that these young girls were okay with having anal sex, so they were saving their vaginas for marriage. I was like, huh?
Wow.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
That is true.
They had no problem, they had no problem going down on a guy or letting him, get in and do anal, but the vagina was off limits because that was for the husband.
Wow.
And I was like, that's a mentality shift that I couldn't wrap my head around it for a hot minute.
You're right about that. There was a article that I read that was out that teens were having orgies, but they weren't having sex during orgies. They were just doing like masturbating, going down. Like they were having,
stuff.
they were having oral orgies, and that's what it was. But of course they were masturbating with one another, but they weren't like having intercourse. They were just like, nah, this is not gonna happen.
So when we get back to the basis of love, let's talk about the body and how it gets a man's utmost attention. And the reason I emphasize a man is because as ladies, we are already emotional. We're trying to unlock the secret code between sex versus love.
Okay, I can take that one.
Okay.
Yeah, let Tony take
Okay,
that
so
one.
yeah, let's dive into this real quick. So, yes, I'm a leg man. All right, I love a great set of legs. Okay, but the reality of the situation is most men, we do love certain body parts on women, but if we really like you, we will accept you in all your entirety. Case in point being, when I was married, my wife didn't like certain parts of her body. And I consistently told her, why does it matter if I enjoy you while you're naked? Why do you care? Nobody else is seeing it but me.
Right.
And
Right.
I coined the phrase, I want to fuck that fat.
Oh,
Okay. Because that was the thing. You know how y'all women, y'all look in the mirror, y'all see yourselves, y'all like, oh, I'm fat here, I'm fat there. Well, if a man told you that shit, you know, but you write it off. So on top of that is your man should be
coin the phrase. But
on top of that, your man should be excited to see you.
Mhm.
Clothes
Yeah.
on, clothes
Or not.
off.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. He should be excited. So that should be some kind of a signal there. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm not talking about he blowing up your DMs and all that kind of stuff. This is social media pushed to the side. If
Yeah.
he's on your phone and he's texting you and he wants to hear your voice, he wants to see you, he's trying to set stuff up and make excuses just to see you, clothes on, he likes you. He wants to be with you. And sex is not even a whole even part of that at that point. He's not even
Yeah.
worried about seeing you naked.
Mhm.
He's enjoying you clothes on, lips flapping, brain going. He wants all of that.
Yeah. I think a lot of times we're too hard on ourselves. We don't allow ourselves to be human, especially as women who have children. I used to be so insecure about my stomach because my son was big. I was 24 when I had him. I was in decent shape. I worked out and flat tummy, but he was 8.5 pounds. And so, he stretched me out some. And I was like, well, I'm gonna snap back after you, my first baby. And I pretty much snapped back, but not to where I was before I had him. And I was really, really, really insecure about my stomach. And it's like, because it's not as toned as it is, no matter what I do, it's not going to get as toned and tight as it was before I had him. But I had to learn to appreciate the life that I was able to bring into the world, the beautiful son that I have, the joy that I get from being a mother, and looking at that and saying that was the reward that I got for these tiger stripes on my stomach. And
Saying those affirmations, do you really believe them?
yes,
Okay.
I've gotten to that point where I started to believe them. Like, you know what? There are so many, people who wish that they could have
Right.
what I have. And I pray that, those who want to be mothers, are able to accomplish that, in whatever way that they can. But I was blessed to be able to carry life. As a woman, I have learned to appreciate my body. And so I'm no longer ashamed to not be naked, both physically and in vulnerability with myself and with, whoever I'm with. Because if you love me, you're going to love all of me, flaws and all. You're not going to pinpoint, well, you could do this and you could fix that and go get dangerous surgeries to look a certain way and end up dead. Things like that can happen, or end up in the hospital. Why would I risk my life just to look a certain way when the person that you get has a heart of gold? They make you a better person. You enjoy spending time with them. You have to look beyond the physical. And when you connect on that level, the body gets connected too.
So can I flip the script a little bit?
Good.
So y'all talking about stretch marks and tiger marks, but there's guys out here that have stretch marks. Y'all okay with that? Y'all gonna judge him physically if he's got stretch marks?
No.
Yeah, that's fine. I wouldn't mind, having a guy. I've dated a guy who was huge, and then all of a sudden he dropped down weight, and you could see that he had stretch marks in certain places. But he was also, he started to tone his body. But you could tell that sometimes he was was bigger, or he got small. But I know, like, for me, I like being in a place where I can be vulnerable with the person that I'm with. I can just be completely naked if they make me feel comfortable. And I think that's the thing about it, is the comfortability that the person gives you when you're with them, and how they make you feel that makes you want to walk around naked with them. Like, I've done that, and I'm like, I feel so comfortable. You'll be looking at me like, why are you so comfortable? So, because you make me feel comfortable being in this state with you. And so he would just be like, I've never had anybody that's like that just can walk around. I said, but you make me feel that way. And so because you do, I am able to be vulnerable with you. I am able to show you my flaws and all, and not just be transparent about it. I think it's a good thing for for me, I think it's a good thing that couples kind of look at each other naked. Like you just kind of stare at each other and see everything. And you kind of know what you're getting into but it also brings you a sense of, a vulnerability with one another, but it also brings you a sense of like, okay, I see you, like I see you. And that like, and I like what I see, or I love what I see, and I want more of it. And, like Junior Polkenstroke said, he wants to fuck that fat.
And I bet it makes it more worthwhile and more enjoyable once you let go and you're uninhibited and you're not worried about, oh, the light got to be off, or is he seeing? I got to I got to have a sheet. Like,
right?
Time for that.
No.
Nobody has time for that.
Nobody has time for that, because even for me at one point, I was very subconscious about my stomach because I was small. Like I had my daughter at 17. I was like 105. I think I got like 125 my whole pregnancy. I snapped back because I ran track. Had my son at 21 and I snapped back, but it was the simple fact, that there were just certain things that I did, like birth control. It made me gain weight. It really did. And so when I got off of it, it was hard for me to lose it. And I was like, this is not okay, but I had to learn to be okay in my skin, okay in my body, and just work on the body that I have now. And so, and that's what I am. And I always get up in the morning and I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, okay, girl, you look good. Okay, let's keep on going. So it's a great affirmation that you do give yourself.
Yeah, like, and it's like when you're in a relationship, those affirmations that he gives you,
absolutely, it boosts you as well. No man has ever said, before I date you, show me your stomach. Not a real man. Not one real man has ever said that to me.
Yeah, there was a scene in a movie, Eat, Pray, Love, where they both were eating pizza, and she was like, I'm gaining weight and I'm fat. I don't want any more junk food. And she's like, listen, have you ever been naked with a man and he ever tell you to get out of his room? And she's like, no. She's like, good. So eat the pizza. We'll go buy bigger jeans.
There you go.
And we're going to embrace our travels in our life. That doesn't mean just get obese and be a glutton, but
and unhealthy.
Live life. Enjoy the pizza.
I don't respect this generation because they have this thing where they don't care. They don't show feelings. They keep their inner thoughts, everything bottled up, and it's not cool to show too much emotion. Whereas back in the day, it was like a guy would put his heart out on his sleeve and he'd lay the red carpet down for you and be a gentleman. And you don't even hear that word anymore.
Right.
So when you are in love with a woman and she's special to you, you would treat it just like anything else that's special. You play with it, you observe it, you get in tune with it.
Like,
get all up into it. Just like some batteries in that thing.
Look like they're chipmunk.
Christmas morning. He looks like a kid on Christmas morning. Like
when she said you play with it, yes, you play with it. Okay, exploration takes a lot of things. Okay. Problem I found is that when you say in a relationship to your partner, hey, keep an open mind, let's try some things, the door doesn't always be open. You ladies, most of you ladies say yes, but the reality is the answer is no. Because I know for a fact, Erica and Jolon, if I were dating one of you and I said, hey, let's watch some porn, y'all will shut that shit down real quick.
And speaking of which, not to interrupt you, but we do have a question. The question is it considered cheating if I masturbate to porn when I'm in a relationship? So continue, Tony.
No, it is not.
I don't think it is either.
That's not cheating.
Nope. I don't think it is either.
Hey, the look on Erica's face says she's got something to say to that.
Oh, she does. You can bet.
Oh, yeah. You see it. It got like right here and she stopped. She's like,
I feel like the whole you looking at someone else and lusting after them is the part of
you're making the assumption that they are lusting after someone else. You're making that assumption that they're lusting after somebody else.
Yeah,
Why
they're
would you
not.
be
They're
masturbating to
like,
somebody watching porn? So who are they? Who are they lusting after? They ain't
They're
me,
not.
because I'm not laughing and color.
That's got nothing. But that's got nothing to do with lust for the most part.
Okay, but
It
here's the
really
thing
does
though.
not.
What if you start building fetishes? Oh, I got a Tokyo fetish now because I like Tokyo clitoris, or I got a Brazilian fetish because I like Brazilian behinds. Like,
That sounds like that needs to be a relationship conversation. If he walked into the relationship with those fetishes already, then again, that's a conversation that
but
needs
it
to be
might be a
had.
situation where you don't know that it's a fetish relationship.
Well, then at that point, if you're going to be an open-minded individual in the relationship and you care about this man, you are going to keep an open mind and watch it with him. And then y'all going to have a somewhat
conversation about it.
conversation on an educational level. And you're going to
Right.
understand how he feels about it. And you're going to express how that makes you feel. That's all that is. It's simple.
Yeah.
But
For me, I don't think it's, for me, it's just me. I don't think it's cheating. I don't. 90% of the time, men are walking around thinking about sex. I'm just going to be honest. I mean, they are. If they're not working, well, at least not Tony. Well, 100% of the time, a lot of times, like, I feel like, and so if you're not there, or if you're not available, I think that, they do. But like I said, I don't think it's cheating, but I also don't want them to get addicted to it, because you can create an addiction to it.
Right.
Fetishes and things of that nature happens because everybody has a fetish. They do. Everybody has a fetish. And I can only say that because of my lifestyle that I do live. I can't judge anybody for having a fetish because of what I like and what I do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, for me, it's not, I don't see it as cheating. I don't. I really don't. I feel like sometimes if he does masturbate, I think sometimes for men, they make better decisions post nut. Like I do.
Do you guys believe in post nut?
Yeah. Sometimes they make bad decisions pre nut. Like if they don't make a good decision, like if a guy wins $50 million, I promise you, go masturbate real quick. He will make the best decision in his life. If he don't, he's gonna make the worst, because it's impulse. It's impulse. It's impulse. It's that impulse thing. And then if he post nut, I can promise you, okay, I gotta go do this. I gotta go do this. I gotta go do that. They're gonna have things in order. Pre nut, you can count it out. All that money gonna be gone and spent somewhere else, and you're gonna be looking like, so what happened?
So what had happened was,
right? You gonna get that story. Like what had happened was, that's even for women. Anytime if you're really feeling a guy and you feel like you're gonna give it up that night, masturbate. I tell you, masturbate. Get it out that that way.
Hey, you know the phrase, rub out that easy one.
Right. And so that way you would be level headed. You've already gotten it. You don't have to worry about it. I promise you. It's the same thing with women. We don't say it because sometimes we're trying to be prude, or we're trying to be as if we no.
Or it might be a situation where you haven't had any in a long time and you're
right,
just really weak because it's like, I wasn't expecting this. Yeah.
Right.
Or you're hot. Like,
yeah. So like, rub it out. Whatever you got to do.
Rub it out.
I feel, hey, get it out and call it a day. Go play with your little toy. Go do whatever you got to go do before you decide to go on this date. Especially if you know that you're actually into this person, because sometimes that's where we mess up at. It's our hormones. It's not feelings. It's our hormones that get us in trouble, because that's what we want. And so then when we give it up, then we're like, dang, I should have did that. You know what? Because it's that post nut.
a little bit. I'm with Jolon, of course. I mean, I personally feel like if that's something you choose to do together to enhance your sex life, then that's between you and that individual. But doing it individually, it seems like a discord. And I'm like, nah, that's something we need to do together. Because ultimately it's like you become lazy. You don't want to do it. You feel like I can just wait till she leaves and just get it off. Or you just,
or you have nothing left to give when it's my turn.
That's true.
Like you all rubbed out.
Or you could be in an entirely different world mentally, and I'm thinking that you're making love to me, but you're really
thinking about somebody
else. Fantasizing because you've been watching this and building some type of fetish behind it. There's a lot of things psychologically.
I think that's
my mind.
I think to me that's like to the extreme. I think that's with men who have an addiction where you're thinking of it from. When I was in a relationship and we knew we were going to get into it, he would watch it, and then afterwards, after he would watch it or whatever, I'm like, oh, okay, or I would watch it with him. I'm not really like big on porn like that, but I would definitely watch it, with him just to see. And I'm like, I want to know what you like. And I want to know what makes you want to watch this. Mm-hmm. Not only that, what is she doing that's getting you to where you are? So that way I can kind of like not so much mimic the same thing, but at least try to, because I want to know what he likes. So but that's just me. But like I said, I don't feel like it's cheating because they can't get to him. That's the thing. They can't get to him. They can't get to him at all. Even again, I feel like that is a man who has an addiction when he's going through a reel while he's sleeping with you, and he's not even making a connection with you because he has a certain thought of how sex is. He's not thinking of you. He's not making that connection with you. But the person that you're with and the person that you're sleeping with, you should know if they have a connection with you. You know if that connection is no longer there. You know if that connection is discorded, if it's gone. You know that about your partner.
So when we get on that topic of him exploring and experimenting you and him being into you, what are some ways, LaShonna, how could you define that when you know that it's love and he's really, really interested in you and not just the idea of you or sex or just using you as an object or whatever his motive may be?
For me, when I am with someone,
what?
The world domination.
World domination.
For me, I know because how he treats my body. Like if he's sensual, he's, and just a tad bit aggressive at the same time, because of course he knows what I like. So if he's very sensual and is a tad bit aggressive, just a little bit, or, caressing he's putting in thoughts of things that's romantic and exploring my body and actually listening to how my body moves to his touch or his stroke. Like that's me, that's him exploring me being open. Like if I can take your hand and put your hand and show you how to rub and touch, and then you can mimic that and you can continue to mimic that. That's him. That's us exploring. That's us experimenting, trying to figure out what I like. And I'm doing the same thing to him, for him to help guide me to how to touch him, where to kiss him, those things of that nature, like what he likes. If he likes me to ride slow, or if he wants me to, not do anything at all, just you just kind of, you have to have those candid conversations about, okay, we're going to explore each other tonight. And what I mean by explore, I want you to kiss me here. I want you to kiss me there. I want you to, touch and caress me here. It's that type of, conversation that you definitely have to have. And you want him to reciprocate that to you, for him to tell you the same thing, because I think sometimes as women, we get wrapped up with a lot of things that we want sexually, not thinking about, or, exploring and not thinking about the male either. So we have to take his feelings and his wants and his needs into consideration also. And because the moment we do that, you unlock something in him, and you're just like, okay. And once you are able to unlock that part of him that's kind of closed off, when you start to explore and you want to know more about him and what he likes, and you guys can kind of bring and mush that together, it makes your relationship a little bit more, connected and together. And you can just vibe with one another. Like you can walk in the door and you'll know, oh, it's on tonight. I got you.
Right.
Just by a look.
Like Tony just said, he's telling his wife one thing and yet she's doing another, and it's like, but you won't let me unleash and see what I need to see and do what I need. Yeah, so you're right.
Unleash the dragon, maybe.
Yeah, that one right there.
Junior Post Stroke has a new name.
Oh, he's come alive just now.
He's been renamed. But no, that's important, and that teaches me, even like in relationship, to get out of my own way and listen to what he's saying. Because if you're not listening and you're just doing what's important to you based on how you critique yourself, then it's like, okay, well then just go be in a relationship by yourself.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't like the tongue. So I don't like kissing. I don't like oral sex. I don't like anything that's wet and slithery. And it's like,
Tony, your face.
That's
Why
half
the
of the
face?
stuff out for you.
yeah, all that.
You take it.
Okay. So let me clarify. You don't like it on you, or you don't like doing it?
Oh,
I can get into the giving part, like, because I like a little bit of control. Yeah, I like a little bit of control, but I don't like receiving. I don't like all that on me. Like, it's
just
just
get a
like,
fake tongue and do it. That's what she gonna do.
What?
So how is somebody supposed to explore you?
Right.
There are a lot of
And
other ways.
experiment with you. Like
How
how?
ways on how?
I'm literally no. I'm literally
I just need to make sure I understand. So if I rolled up on you and I put my bib on and I say put your legs in the air, you gonna look at me all funny.
Yeah.
If I put my bib on and say, hey, tonight dinner is I'm eating in tonight, you gonna look at me and be like, no, you not, motherfucker. You better go get Doordash.
Overeat.
Yeah, I don't want no.
Why?
Okay. It's
what is wrong with you?
It's slimy. It's wet.
That's the point.
That's the best part.
So I'm trying to figure out
what's wrong with you.
Okay, so this answers a lot of questions. Okay, I'm gonna let you know, and you know why this
it brings up so many more questions.
You know why this answers a lot of questions for me. So my thing is, if you don't, again, how are you able to explore and how are you able to experiment with your significant other if he's not able to, like, that means you're closed off. That means you have, why? I can't even get it out. Why?
I'm this close to disowning you. I'm this close.
Erica, I can't with you on this one. I have to side with everybody else.
Let her sink in that shit by herself.
But I can't agree with her that myself I don't like receiving because it does nothing to me. Or more or less, let me put it like this.
That's the thing. I don't get an orgasm either. I'm just like, what are we
That's
doing?
The thing. I've not really had an orgasm
unto you, or not done something unto thou.
And then, but I also think it's because of the partners that I've had.
Yes.
They feel like they're chef boy or whatever down there, and I leave sore. And I'm like, that's not supposed to happen.
No. You have to talk to them. You have to talk to them and let them know. You have to tell them exactly what you.
I did that. I did that. I still came out. So I just didn't.
So are we talking no tongue action, or we talking just no touching altogether? If you're using hands and fingers, that's okay, or is it just?
That's good. You're using your hands and your fingers. That's totally fine.
Okay.
You know what? That's funny because I don't like hands and fingers.
Really?
Y'all are so jacked up tonight. Y'all are so jacked up.
I don't like hands and fingers.
I knew I shouldn't have been drinking tea tonight. I should have brought the hard stuff. Jesus.
If you guys are just tuning in, you're watching the Purple Mic. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment.
I'm just saying, I don't think
the board is divided here tonight. The board is divided tonight.
Yes,
me and Tony.
I don't think it's ever been done properly for me. That's why I say I don't like it. I'm not saying I don't like it. I just haven't had it done correctly.
Okay,
me.
And I'll tell you.
So she can't. I haven't had it done correctly for to me. So for me, I'm just like, I just rather not, because
that is bananas. That is absolutely bananas.
I mean, I understand that if you've had a bad experience, you're not going to want to explore that again because you're going to feel like every time it's like PTSD almost. Like, why would you want to try that again? And it wasn't good. But see, I've had some really.
You can go ahead and say it. You can go ahead and say it.
I've not told them what to do, but like guided and hey, verbalized what was going on and wanted more of or less of, and it was like perfect. Like,
so it was a conversation piece.
The conversation.
He
listened to verbalize. Yes. Guided,
but that's what I'm saying. I did that, and it still came out wrong. I guess
you were able to climax during that. that way?
Absolutely.
She is completely baffled. Look at her face. She is completely baffled that is possible.
Absolutely.
She's baffled.
Wow.
Yeah, I only had one person that was able to do it correctly, and that's it. But he lived, eat, breathe that, and I was like, okay. But he did his job.
Okay.
That was the point. That's why he did it right.
Right, he did it right. You know, but
it.
and I can honestly say that's what made me turn around and be like, oh, okay, I could like this if I could get it like this all the time. But shoot, I'm not with that person no more.
Those couple bad experiences just put a bad taste in your mouth.
I'm like, I'm not with that person no more.
You know,
literally.
But you know, I think if you had the right situation, the right person, the right vibe, the right pressure, everything, you would change your mind. I'm telling you. But I've had bad experiences too, but I also had good experiences. So I know. Yeah,
I've never had a partnership like that where I could just relax and just.
That's
well,
problem
see,
number
and
one.
that's the thing. That's problem number one for you. I need
one,
you to relax. I need you to relax.
It cannot be tense. You have to. It's like letting yourself go, like falling into clouds and just.
Yeah, I've never done that.
Yeah,
never done that.
It's a damn shame.
Like, why? Why don't you relax? What's wrong, baby?
She's too busy paying the bills in her mind. She's too busy making a list, checking it twice. You know,
she over there trying to run background checks on brothers while they down there.
Right.
Legs in the air. She like, what's your social again?
Typing on the computer.
I don't know. Honestly, I just don't feel comfortable. And I think it's more in my head than anything. It's never.
Yeah,
really
you
been.
definitely. Yeah, I'm like that sometimes where I'm in my head. So like I'm there, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm there.
Yeah, and if we back up a little bit too, it's almost like what you just said, LaShonna, about embracing the both of us and where we are. You know, I think it's sometimes the societal standards and what someone wants to project. You talked about that last week.
Yeah.
Projecting what you want me to be when this is really who I am. So I can't ever just be in that space where I'm not thinking about anything. I'm so like my mind is going 1,000 miles a minute and I can't relax.
Yeah, that's why you haven't had a good experience. You have to relax and release yourself into it.
Right. And you have to feel comfortable. Like that person, and not only that, I noticed it has to be like a right combination of things. Like you said, like the vibe, how you feel about the person, the mood, the atmosphere, like everything has to be in a way that it makes you feel comfortable for you to, because it almost sounds like you have your guard up when it comes to it.
Yeah.
Like, what is this person like? Why? Like, why are we doing
if you know that someone really loves you, like, okay, so for example, if he's like, when you get home tonight, I have something really special, or you not even telling you, and you walk in and it's just like candlelight, and he did something really special. I think then I could relax because he really took the time to make this experience, and although that's not something he's going to do all the time.
Right.
Because you'll expect it all the time. So here's what I
not saying that he would need to do that all the time, but I think that catering to that individual, because we tend to cater to men more so than they cater to a woman. So I think if he really responded to me, as we go back to this title, he wants to explore and experiment. He's willing to help you break down that barrier, that guard, whatever that is.
You also have to be open. That's the thing. You also have to be open, because if you're not open, then it's always going to be something where you're going to feel like that, where you have that wall up, and where you're not, and where you purposely go inside your head because you're not open. So that's the thing about it. You have to be open. But not only that, it's okay to teach a man what you want, how you like things to go, and how you like it. Like, it's okay to teach him that, because he's with you. And he's not with you, and he's not being this intimate and vulnerable with you for no reason. He's doing it because he wants you to do the same thing with him. And if you can't give that to him, and you can't be that open with him, a man is only going to be there but for so long, trying to keep knocking at that wall and knocking at that wall, instead of like, okay, you know what? I got to go, because everything I've done, she still has this wall up.
Right.
So you have to be open. So you have to be open. But not only that, you have to be comfortable in your sexuality. So if you're not comfortable in your sexuality, I promise you, that wall, and that's why you're in your head. Like you literally have to be comfortable in your sexuality. And I had to do that. And you know how I did it? I literally had to explore my body, myself, to figure out what I like, what I don't like, how I like to be touched. Because if you don't, you can't convey that to him.
Yeah.
You can't convey that to him. So my advice would be like, go explore you. Go look, like literally go look at you.
Go on, minister. Go on, minister. Go on. Took y'all to church. Go on. That is bullshit for $500, though.
So you don't believe satisfaction?
Why is that, Tony?
No, I say that because most men don't think that way, and that's you got to understand that first and foremost. We don't, that part of us doesn't register your satisfaction. Now, that's not all men. Okay, all men are not in that boat. Some of us understand some things, and we learn as we go.
Okay.
But by and large, most of us don't register your satisfaction, and an even smaller amount, unfortunately, don't give a shit about your satisfaction, because we as men, by and large, are selfish. We want ours, and unfortunately, when I say this, it's going to make y'all mad, but we getting ours doesn't mean you're going to get yours, and most of us don't care if you do or do not get yours. You just have to get it while the getting's good. So when we get off, you better get off with us. I know the look on your face. I know the look on your face is jacked up, but think about your previous experiences. The guy got off. You're nowhere close, but he's cool. And if you didn't get yours, it kind of is what it is.
Not all the time.
I know it's not all the time. It's not all the time. That's true. It's not all the time.
But if
but by and large, that's the way the mentality of the man is structured, unfortunately.
But if he wants to please you, that's important to him. Right?
If he wants to please you, he's going to put the effort into it.
Right.
A man that cares about you is not going to worry about him. He's going to take care of you first, and then he's going to get his. That's the reality of that situation, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Very true.
That's all right. Very true.
I love foreplay. That's like a prelude to everything for me.
I didn't used to like it either.
Foreplay has some issues. So I need you. Okay, and here's why I say foreplay has issues. Because when you women say foreplay, a man hears, okay, what's the time limit? What's it going to take to get you worked up to that point? We don't know. And so you guys say, I want a little bit of that in the course of the day. Start 5 minutes before you want to get it. 10 minutes. We don't know. There's no exact science to that. And all you women want something different.
Foreplay can be a conversation leading up to before I get home. It doesn't have to be physical.
We don't know that. We don't know that. We don't understand that a simple conversation is like that.
Just be, turning on those like little hints.
We don't know that.
Dinner.
We don't know that. And then the problem with that is if we do that often enough, you come to expect it all the time, and it doesn't have the same effect. So if I give you a rose every day, that becomes normal for you. And you won't realize it until I stop.
See, that's what I just said about the candlelight.
Different things.
Right.
Like just finding different things to be creative to get.
That's what I just said about the candlelight.
True. Exactly. But again, you're talking about most men unfortunately, we aren't that creative. We have to learn these things. Some of that information is passed down from other men. Oddly enough.
Just turning off.
Or other women.
Just,
That too, but the opposite end of that is some guys learn their foreplay and those little things from watching porn. Believe it or not.
Come on,
they see that crazy stuff in pornos and they're like, let me try that and see if she likes that. because some of that stuff, even though your concept of porn, calm down, Erica, I see your face. Your concept of porn is a little different, but then
Molly got that whole side eye.
oh, I know I got it all. I know I'm getting it all. I'm getting it all. But you guys need to understand that, because some guys don't get that tutelage to know what foreplay actually is.
Look it up in the dictionary. Foreplay is da-da-da-da-da. Find out.
No,
Okay,
it's
So
Right
by that jacked up logic, foreplay is me turning on the PS5 and you good to go the minute I turn on PS5. That's foreplay.
No,
but that's true.
foreplay,
I've dated men who don't know what foreplay is. They're like, I don't know what that is.
I'm sure.
Half them mofos can't even spell foreplay.
Right, because how they were introduced to sex. So I take that into consideration.
Most men were introduced to sex via porn and Playboy of a certain generation. That's how they were introduced to sex.
Or an older woman like, hey, come here.
Exactly.
This topic is the art of lovemaking. The art. When you paint
right,
a picture,
but then you have
to have one. You can do a canvas with just one color. But when you want to illustrate something, you're going to use different colors, different strokes, different techniques, different, just utensils.
But that's learned.
Whatever. Yeah,
but that's learned. That's
not
learned.
Necessarily. You have artists who have gone to school to become painters, and you have those who are freelance artists. So
you have those that are freelancers. True. But the ones who are great painters and things of that nature of our generations and stuff like that, yes, they are freelancers, but they also learned art and they were an apprentice to someone. So my thing is, I had to literally teach not one, but two men what foreplay actually was, because they were just used to getting it. Like, I'm going straight in. I'm like, hey.
Foreplay, the purpose of foreplay is to add to sexual excitement, and especially for women to help prepare the body for intercourse by increasing vaginal lubrication. Outer course is almost the same as foreplay. So examples would be kissing, sharing fantasies, watching porn together, or touching one another's genitals.
Well, we can start watching porn off of that for y'all too.
That's not on our list. Absolutely
right. No. So like I literally, like I said, I literally had to teach not one but two men that I've dated, like, about foreplay. Like, I would send them like a sexy text message beginning of a story or something, and they would automatically be like, all right, I'm on my way. No, you're not. I need you to add to this.
You put a line, then you put a line, and you
thank you. And I want, and like, that's what I want you to do. Or I would, something like that. Or I would tell them like, no, kiss me here. I need you to touch me here. It's and foreplay that exploring.
Men have to be told what to do. That's how we're built. I
think so. Okay? But I think for me, foreplay is just being with the person I want to be with. That's all. You just being in my presence is good enough for me. I'm not super, complicated, or, it's just, I don't know. It's just, if
thanks for letting America know the bar is low.
No, the bar is not low, because I don't want to just have, I don't just have anybody around me. So the bar is very high. But if it is that person and you're around me, baby, you need to do jack. Just breathe, and I'm good.
She said, just breathe.
Said, just breathe. And that's true, because like, just being in that person's presence, you're right, Jolon, being in that person's presence can be foreplay for you, because that's all you want is his presence. And that's all you want sometimes for women, but men don't know that unless you tell them, just being in your presence is good enough for me. Like, you have to like convey it. Like, and I know
I'll do things to show them too. It's about action as well. I'm not gonna just sit, not to your point is good, but I'm not just gonna stand there. Being in your presence is all I ever wanted. I want to touch you or kiss you or do something and show you. Being in my presence it's alluring. It's desirous on my part.
Right. But for men, I promise you, they think rationally. We think emotionally. We think emotionally.
There we go. Think rationally, because that's what Tony was just saying.
Everything is 1 + 1.
And so when it comes to rational type of thinking,
B equals C. That's how we think.
And we think from emotions type of standpoint. So you have to understand, because we think from an emotional type of standpoint and men think rationally. You saying, oh, you know what? your presence does a lot for me. They're like, oh, okay. I didn't, in their head, man, I didn't know that. I will make sure that when I'm around her, these are certain things it's certain cues that they start to pick up on. Even when you talk to them, they start to pay a little bit more attention to certain things that you do. Or if you ask him, hey, you want to come over, just chill and watch a movie? He was like, oh, you must, in his mind, because you've told him that, she must want to be around me. Okay, cool. I'll be there. He'll make that extra and that effort because that's what you want. And you're coming from an emotional standpoint. But men, they're rational. It has to be a rhyme and a reason why. For men, a rhyme.
So is foreplay just to prime the woman? Basically, is what we're saying.
A lot of times,
that's what it sounds like.
Definitively, really, by definition, is kind of for the woman.
For the most part, foreplay is for women.
Yeah.
Is it important to a man and all? Like, does it like when
yeah, it is, but it's a different type of thing for us. Just like she said, we have to be taught and told what to do, and we're logical, about things. So
you wear lingerie, they get excited to just rush in and go. You know what I'm saying?
See,
because we think you're already ready to go.
Right. So we're enticing. We're trying to entice them. We're doing the foreplay on our side to entice them to get us ready. But they're already ready to go. They don't need foreplay like that. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessary for them.
It's not necessarily for them.
Necessary mostly for us because, like LaShonna says, we think A plus B equals C. They're 1 + 1 = 2. You know what I'm saying? Logic.
It's that logic part.
For us, we have to feel emotionally connected. Maybe you're rubbing my shoulders or giving me a massage. Like you're not just rushing and you're buttering me up to get there. And that's where we feel more appreciated, more valued. And so that's when our juices start flowing, and then we start getting into the mood, and we start kissing and whatever goes on.
But Tony already said you better get it while you can. You better get it while
what?
you can. So if
taking a sweet time to what?
If you have an orgasm, it's not just about him. If he's making sweet love to you, he's learning your spots. He's making love to you the way that you need to be made love to. You tell him that, you know what, I just need a little bit more time. I'm not there yet. Whatever it may be. He takes his time. It's not like, you know what, I gotta go.
I ain't got all night, girl. Monday Night Football coming on.
Oh God. Or just, like you said earlier, men are selfish. Maybe he's not selfish and he wants to fit in the time all night. I remember when we were kids, everybody used to last 6, 7, 8, 9 hours. And it's like, is that really what it's about?
That has been established as grade A BS.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, is it
no man can last that long.
No. That's not, we didn't know
7,
any better.
8 minutes tops.
So that's why we said that.
Exactly.
You said how long?
I'm sorry, wait, what?
7, 8 minutes tops.
No.
Ooh.
Yes.
No. I've been married and it lasts much longer.
And when I say 7, 8 minutes tops, I'm talking about just stroking. That's all I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the whole complete act of sex, boobs and touching and all that. Yeah, I'm talking about just pure intercourse. He got 8, 10 minutes tops. Okay. Mm-hmm. Unless he rubbed out that easy one first, then he got some more time on the books.
This is true.
I can see that an orgasm, and then we go in for the main show, and that lasts.
And then you get into where men cannot have multiple orgasms. Most men.
Bullshit.
I'm not saying
bullshit. That is bullshit.
No. When I say that in back to back, y'all have a refractory period where you have to wait. Physically have to wait. And that's most.
You're right.
Men.
Some of us do. Some of us do. You are right.
There is a refractory period where women, we can have multiple orgasms. We can keep going.
But that in itself is also contingent on how he feels about you. If he's excited about you and he gets that first one off, he's gonna stay hard. He's trying to get right back. I want
to back up a minute. When you just said that when he's excited about you, are you talking about at the beginning of a relationship or just in general?
Just in general. Okay. Yeah. If he's excited about you, then that's not gonna be a problem. You're gonna be wild like that, motherfucker. You still hard? Like what? Huh? Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
If he look at you, he like, all right, that was session 1. Let me go get some Gatorade. I'll be right back. Keep it warm.
Gatorade, Lord.
Keep it warm. Mm-hmm. Keep it wet. Mm-hmm.
If you're just tuning in, you're watching the Purple Mic. We asked you guys to get those likes up.
Right.
So if you say you're not ready to have a sexual relationship, or perhaps, you're not ready to take it all the way, maybe a little light kissing or touching is enough. He will respect you because he wants to embrace your sensuality as opposed to just rushing in wham bam pow.
That is not going to go over well in the long haul. I'm sorry.
That was my question, time-wise. How long is too long?
How long would that last?
Right. Because
that depends on how the relationship starts out.
We don't want to get Bible-based, but, in most cases, a man will wait. If he's a gentleman.
Yeah.
So is it really a clock ticking? If you are really excited about someone?
So from personal experience, the women that I have actually cared about and liked, because that's how I saw them from the beginning when I pursued them, then it didn't matter how long it took before I even seen her naked and eventually had sex. It didn't really matter. I just enjoyed the person.
Right. That right.
The women that I have pursued, because the minute I looked at them, all I knew is that I wanted to just rail the shit out of them, excuse the term. Then that's just what it was. It was like, okay, in my mind, okay, we're going to do this 3 days tops. If I'm not in there in 3 days, I'm done. Okay. Now that little timeline varies because things can change. You can see a woman that you just wanted to hit and find out there's a lot more to her that interests you, and sex becomes not so important. And the opposite is true. You can say, damn, I think I want to get to know her, but in getting to know her, you find out that's not the person you want to really be with. And so man's plans change and let me see them draws. And that's it. So there's a lot of gray area in there, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is.
So you don't think this carnal desire should be put aside so that it's more about, let me get to know you and your body and respect you, so that we both come to a place where it's going to be ultra special when we get there, as opposed to setting your stopwatch. If you care about someone and you're attracted to them, why can't you practice the discipline?
So understand that men are visual individuals, and this is how we perceive you first and foremost. Never forget that we are visual individuals. This is what we see, this is what we do, and we make a plan off of it. Everything else comes after. Yeah, everything comes after.
that's
Again,
why they even approach you to begin with, because they saw something. You don't see somebody's personality from across the room. You see what they look like from across the room, and that's the even enticing.
But it just sounds like you're a piece of meat in the produce section. Like
no, we all to a certain degree are shopping. Okay, we all to a certain degree are shopping.
Yeah, because you give them the chance to talk to
we
you.
See someone,
yeah,
we see them. Like, cute. Okay. Yeah.
Case in point, Miss Erica, every time you see the LeBron commercial, I know you want to do some things to Mr. James. Look at you, rubbing your neck. You are window shopping, young lady. You're not looking at LeBron thinking, I thought I'd like to sit him down and have a nice Chianti with him. You looking at him like, damn, I want to sit on that beard.
Exactly.
Just keep that real.
Jolon said, "Oh,
wow, okay."
Yes, let's keep that real.
Right. Like he went for your jugular, Erica.
Received the knife.
July, he twisted it.
Yeah, he did pull it out. Yes, he did the twist. on that.
But again, you have to think again, men are very visual creatures, and it's their rational thinking. And see, when you're asking these questions, you're coming from an emotional standpoint, because I can hear all the emotions in these questions that you're asking.
Totally.
And so you have to remember that men again are rational creatures. They are, so that when they see you, like Tony said, when they see you, oh, okay, I like her. Or not, oh, she cute. She got a fat ass. I might want to talk to her, see how see what's up with her.
That's the whole point.
That's their whole
thing. They do it
thing.
afterward. They, like LaShonna said, they see you, they come, and then all the rest comes later.
Yeah, all that.
Let me ask you this: why does it fizzle after you've had everything that you see in those jeans or behind that dress?
Because
that was the conquest.
That's
what that was. So now that it's over, it starts to fizzle. And now
because that's all he wanted. If you would have put out there in Front Street, like, hey, I'm not having sex at all. Not at all. Not till I know XYZ. Not till you know how you like your tears with information? The same way goes with your pussy.
Put it out there. Be honest about it.
Be honest.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with honesty.
Be honest, and I promise you'll be able to weed them out.
Don't think too hard about it. Don't think too hard about it. That's how we're having these conversations, because it's the clarity of male versus female and how we think. You know, most women think a certain way. Sometimes they don't. They think like a man too. But for the most part, most women kind of are in our category, and then you have men like Tony. They're in that category. But it's like the meeting of the minds and figuring out, okay, you're a man.
And what category am I in?
A man. You're a man's
what
man.
Category?
You know what I'm saying?
What category am I in?
You're a manly man. So you have.
You're a manly man. She said.
Of
you heard that, ladies, right here on the purple mic.
You're a man's man, so you know you have the attributes of a hunter, conquistador. I'm just saying.
Really?
You said
conquistador?
You're definitely a hunter by nature. You're definitely
you go after what you want, but that's how you're built. You're supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Usually, that's how it's supposed to go. Now, some women are hunters
I don't know about that.
Because they want to be, you know, the new age woman and go after whatever, but. You know, for most of the women here, I am the hunted. I'm the prey. I'm not the predator. You start talking and have a conversation. You start hearing keywords, seeing red flags, that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. You decipher what you want to do. If that's what you want to do, and when you have a conversation or you see things, then you make your decision from there. If not, exit stage left. And that's it.
Yeah. And then you'll know what a man actually wants, because he's gonna put it out there. His conversation's always geared towards sex and having sex,
or how you look and all that stuff.
Y'all women are not ready for that conversation. Y'all don't like that conversation. Y'all say y'all do, but a lot of y'all ain't ready for that conversation.
What do you mean?
Okay, so a couple years back before I got married, I used to be in the bar all the time. So honesty is my policy, and there was a few women in there that I thought were attractive, but you in a bar and you drinking right up there with me. So I figured something's up. So a few women, I have told them point blank, hey, I think you're attractive, but all I want to do is have sex with you. Mm-hmm. And they get mad. They get pissed. Y'all are not ready to hear that in a direct manner. You want honesty, but you're not ready for it. You get mad. And then later on, I've had those same women come back to me and tell me, well, you know what? I apologize, but you were the most honest man in the bar that night. You put your intentions out there. Y'all ain't ready for that.
Maybe they couldn't take it at that time because they valued themselves more than just I'm a sexual object.
And that's
why in their mind they were like, they couldn't handle that.
Don't say you want a man to be honest, and when he presents himself in an honest manner, you get offended by it.
I get what you're saying, Tony. I do. Okay, so full disclosure for me,
been a little less blunt.
It is probably how you said it. Maybe
true. The delivery could have been a lot softer, but that's just me. I'm a direct individual, and I call it what it is.
Right. Yeah. So I just got out of a situation where I think Erica, when you were vetting me, I told you about it. Mm-hmm. So for me, I was the guy that I was with for 3 years. Like, he told me what was up. He was like, hey, I'm not quite ready for a relationship, and neither was I at the time. But he was like, but I am looking for XYZ. if you can do this, then this is what I'm presenting to you. And I was like, okay, well, let me think about it, because I was like, okay, he was honest. He was upfront about, his intentions. No, he did not want a full-blown relationship, but he did want, companionship and things of that nature. And I said yes, because that was something I chose to do. So because we did, I knew everything up front. I knew what I was getting myself into. We both had said, you know what, if, we're in this, but if we find someone else that is able to give us what we cannot give each other, then go do that. I said, okay, fine, that's great. Because I knew what I was getting myself into. I accepted those terms because he was brutally honest. I had not been with somebody that had not been that honest, because they would always take that choice away from me. And for women, for us, it's about the choice that is taken from us instead of it being out and being honest. But it was also his approach and how he said it. He didn't see, it was what
I think
was.
I'm very fairy tale based. I just think of the word sensuality. I think of a man showing a genuine interest, courting you, taking you to dinner. You guys go and experience different things. And before you know it, 6 months has passed and you haven't even made love or thought of even about having sex. Maybe you have or you haven't because you're sexually attracted to each other, but it's not at the forefront because you enjoy this person and you're thinking something like that's long lasting. So
but I think
it just baffles me that people are just
it.
so sexually charged, and that has to be at the forefront of all things. Whatever happened to romance? Getting to know the person. I mean,
if 3 months go by and you ain't at least whipped out one titty, it's a problem.
Because it depends on what people are looking for. Just like LaShonna just said, if you come to the table and say, this is what I want, this is what you want, and we come to an agreement, that's what it is. If you said this is what I want, this is what I want, and it doesn't line up, you go to the
I agree. I wasn't piggyback riding off of the statements. I was speaking for myself in my own case. I just really think that it's simple.
Just asking the question.
People, we make it so complicated.
No,
I don't think it's complicated. Yeah.
It shouldn't be like a time frame, though. I feel like it's hard to put into words for me, because if I meet somebody new and we're vibing, we make dates, we watch TV together, whatever it is we find to do together, and we develop a relationship, at some point you're going to know you want to move something forward, whether it be physical, whether getting into a relationship, something is going to change. Something's going to move. So for me, I try not to have those expectations as Erica knows me best, that I'm a fairy tale type of girl too. But I had to come to the realization that fairy tales are for the Disney princesses, and this is real life,
It is. And but I think if we get back to the core of courting someone, dating, making them wait and earn, and like, what is so wrong about waiting? Why are we as a culture, a society, why are we so pressed to have sex all the time?
I don't think it's anything wrong with
I think intimacy is great, and I'm not opposed to it at all. It's not what I'm saying. I just think that the word love and even courting and romance, all those words are like, they're just down the drain. Like, what is that? Now I don't have time for that. Let's get it on.
Those aren't the people for you. And that's when you weed
them out. Those are like you'll know.
Yeah,
like
you'll know.
If, like you'll know, because they're not on the same page as you. They're not on the same
serve
page
your soul, that they're not
right. Then you also have to be careful what type of man that you pick, and look at the men that you start to attract. Because if you're attracting that type of man, then you have to look inside you, like, okay, what is in me that keeps attracting this type of man, and make that change. Yeah. And once you make that change, and you start more or less living in that type of area, you change your circle, your surroundings of I guess where where you go to go meet men or whatever the case is, then you'll start to find that type of man. But not only that, if you tell a man like, hey, again, I'm not I'm not in this for have sex. I'm in this for the long haul. I want to be with somebody who meets me at my needs and I meet them. Mm-hmm. And I think, Erica, you and I talked about this, like, wanting someone who has a freaking PhD in LaShonna Edwards, and that is my whole name. Like, I want you to have a PhD in knowing me, but not only that, you go back and take some courses. But not only that, but I want to do the same thing for you. I want to have a PhD in you and knowing you and what you like and what you want. So I do think that you have to, you have to put it out there. I don't think this generation is I guess because of the circles that I'm in, like, with sex, like, ma'am, thank you, ma'am. I just feel like sometimes, like Tony said, women don't want to hear the truth. So if a man's like, I only want you for sex, believe him when he says that. Don't make nothing else out of anything else. If he says, I only want you for sex, don't make it a project to change his mind or wants you to be in a relationship with you. Leave it. Like, if it doesn't serve you,
let it go.
Let it go. And then don't get offended when he says that. Like, don't get offended when he tells you that. Like, just like, oh, okay, that's nice, but you know what? I'm not about that. So you might,
So before we go, in 5 seconds, and please only 5 seconds because we've got to go. Everyone define in your own words the art of making love. In conclusion, the art of making love in 5 seconds. Jolon.
Earlier, I likened it onto a masterpiece of art, just using different colors, different textures, things like experiences, just being yourself and just learning the other person and, creating what works for you. Tony, why are you in the background shifting? You don't like my answer? Well, too bad.
No comment at the present moment.
Tony, the art of love. Define the art of love, Tony.
The art of love, as far as I'm concerned, is communication and truth. Okay? You want a man to make love to you, be honest with him, be direct with him. Mm-hmm. That'll solve a lot of stuff right then and there.
LaShonna, the art of making love.
Again, I think I said it already. I need him to have a PhD in LaShonna Edwards. Okay. To have a PhD in him.
Graduated.
The physical, emotional, mental, spiritually, all of that. PhD. Get it. Okay? That's it.
We want to thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. We had a wonderful time in discussing love. If you haven't already, please head on over to our YouTube and subscribe. Don't forget to like, share out the videos, and also our Instagram where you can read on all the bios of future episodes. We're live every Monday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 Pacific Standard Time on Facebook and Twitch. And Thursday nights, come and join us. We have our watch parties. You guys will want to tune in this Saturday. We are having a live 1-year anniversary for the Purple Mic. So excited. There you can join us, watch the entire cast as we dine, laugh, dance, have a wonderful time, ask us questions, and so much more. LaShonna, Jolon, Tony, thank you so much for your time this evening, and we will see you guys next week.
Bring lube to all y'all foreplays.
Good night.
I can't.
Good night.
Good night, you guys.
Good night.